Okay, let's talk about what is the difference between YouTube browse and YouTube search as far as people finding your videos. Now, if you're watching this playlist, and this is the third in a series that I'm doing about YouTube for product-based businesses. So if you're watching the whole thing, that's good, but if you just searched for this and this came up, then you've experienced the search already. If you found this video because YouTube suggested it to you and it showed up on your homepage or in the little bar to the right of the screen or anywhere else that you just saw the thumbnail and you went to it, that's the browse. So if you type something into the search bar on YouTube, that's going to bring up one set of videos. But then YouTube will suggest videos based on what you're watching now and what you've watched in the past. They will suggest things to you, and you might never search for anything on YouTube. You might just go and start clicking on things that they're showing you. That's the browse, okay? Now, if you rely only on browse, and people do this. People rely only on browse because they're trying to build a YouTube channel and they want YouTube to suggest their videos to people because that's how you grow a channel that's intended to make money with the YouTube channel itself. And if that's what you're looking for, I'm not going to get into that stuff because that gets into your thumbnails and your titles, and you have to do a little clickbaity stuff to get people interested in clicking on the thumbnail. And that's a whole different thing. People have built entire businesses around teaching other people how to be on YouTube. That's not what I'm doing. Okay. For a product-based business, and you will have to go in, and like I said in the previous video, you have to go in and do research to see what are people in your niche doing when they're on YouTube and they're connecting with the audience. So let's say that you do scrapbooking, because I know a lot of people do a lot of scrapbooking videos, and there's a whole YouTube thing called FlossTube where people do needlework. So there are niches on YouTube where there are big audiences. And if that's the case, you can go in and just see what's working for those people. There are ways to do that. I'm not going to get into all of that. I just want you to think about how you want to present your business and where you want people to go. And again, in the first part of this, I said you need to decide where do you want them to go. Do you want them to go to another video? Do you want them to go to your website? Where do you want them to go after they watch the video? Different purposes of being on YouTube are going to have different ways that you have to manipulate that. If you're just using YouTube as a way to introduce people to your business, which is basically how I use it for my cake decorating business, because like I talked about in the previous video, YouTube thinks that cake decorating on YouTube is not what I do. They don't think that I don't do cake decorating. They think that when people search for cake decorating, they're either looking for a basic tip or they're looking for entertaining videos of people decorating things that they can just watch. I don't do either of those. Okay. So what I decided to do with mine is to ignore the browse algorithm. Now I do pay attention to browse for other of my channels because I said I have 5 YouTube channels. For the other channels, I would pay attention to browse, but I really tend to lean on search more because based on what YouTube thinks about my topics, it's a better way to target people who are actually looking for the videos that I make and the subject matter, as opposed to just getting the clicks from clickbaity thumbnails. And there's more to it for the business, like the online business stuff. YouTube doesn't think that that's about. YouTube thinks that online business is all get rich quick, essentially. So that's one piece of that. But for the cake stuff, I decided that because YouTube thinks that my channel is like about something that it's really not, like they think the topic of cake decorating is something that I don't think I'm making videos about that, if that makes sense. I would just lean on the search part. Because YouTube is indexed really well in search engines, and Google owns YouTube. So Google does show a lot of YouTube videos in search results. That's all been very crazy for the last year because of all these weird Google updates that are going on. But consistently, my videos do show up in Google search results when people search for specific questions. So after doing all the research about this, I decided to lean on the search part and kind of not ignore, but I don't rely on the browse features because of what YouTube thinks about my specific niche. Okay. So you have to decide for yourself. Do you want YouTube to suggest your videos? And I would say if you're doing tutorials, if you're doing demos where you want people to like kind of work along with you, then yeah, I would do that. And you know what, I'll talk about the types of videos you would do for each type of search in the next video. But you need to understand the difference between a browse and the search and why you would do each. So like I said, if you're doing tutorials, if you're doing something that you know has a big audience on YouTube and you just want to get into that, then browse is probably a good bet and you need to pay attention to that. If your niche is small like mine and YouTube is not really sure about what it is about, and they're showing weird videos when you search for your topics, that is it, and it makes it obvious that YouTube is confused about your topic, you might want to go with the search, because then you're going to get the audience from search engines and when they search on YouTube for specific topics that you know that people are looking for. And you can also just use your channel for a place to post videos to help your customers. All right. So then that's kind of where you need to decide whether you want to rely on browse, which is going to be a different way of building your channel. It's a different type of topic. Or if you're going to rely on search. And the way that you do that, like I said, just go into YouTube and start searching for your topic. See what comes up, see what types of videos YouTube is showing, and see what types. It'll make it very clear very quickly. What does YouTube think your category is about? All right, so that's your homework for this. And I'll talk about the types of videos that you're going to be making for browse versus search in the next video. So give this one a thumbs up. Go on to the next one. It's in the playlist, and I will talk to you later.